Hello to all our friends out there on YouTube land. It's your good buddy PHILTASTIC here with a totally different angle. Joining me is my beautiful wife.
Hi.
Welcome back to the channel. It's a hot summer night. We're both enjoying a nice treat. I got my lemon ice, or Italian ice. She's got an ice pop as well. And we're going to talk about Riri, which is going to be a challenge. We're talking about episodes specifically 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, I did 1, 2, 3, the first 3 episodes individually, but I didn't want to do 3 more episodes on this. I figured, let me just encompass everything and give you some thoughts. Now, I've watched all the episodes.
I did.
No, you watched literally the last 10 minutes.
Pretty much.
So a totally different perspective. But I'm going to tell you what I really liked, what I really didn't like, and also why this is unlike any Marvel TV show as of yet. Did you know that?
Wow. That's a huge statement.
Before we jump into all that, I'll give you a breakdown.
I love your hair.
Thank you. Episode 4 was good, but it was like, if I'm using my own grading system that if you've watched me before, you know, from my book reviews, it was like borderline meh and good. Episode 5 was good, but borderline dumpster fire. No, I take that back. It was meh, but borderline dumpster fire and meh. So it was like almost terrible. But it was hands down, in my opinion, the worst of the entire series.
Wow.
Episode 6, out of the park, fantastic. And in my opinion, as long as Riri, or Ironheart, if you will, stays around and doesn't go the way of the Black Knight and Star Fox and Pip and all the other dangling, and Blade and all the other dangling kind of plot lines and thread lines we have out there, could mean some big things, I think, in store for Doomsday and for the future Avengers films. So, episode 4, I liked the introduction of Zelma. Totally unexpected. Actually, a character I completely even forgot existed. And I'm not a huge Doctor Strange reader, but I remember that was from the first arc of Jason Aaron's run with Chris Baccello, one of my favorite artists. And definitely brought a different flavor to the show, different direction than I assumed it was going. And something that I didn't anticipate on exploring, but it really opens up a world of possibilities for not only Ironheart, but all these other characters and for the MCU. I thought the actress was good. I don't know who the actress that played her is. And it was definitely a nice surprise and a nice change of pace. I did like it. Oh, I should say this now that we're, like 3 minutes into this. Lots of spoilers in this. Spoil City. So if you haven't watched it yet, but you're planning to, maybe wait, or just go to episodes 3, 4, and 6. The others are, like I said, not great. You're not really missing much. Before I go into episode 5, as we saw, they did something really interesting with Joe, aka Ezekiel Stain. So, let me explain to my wife. There was a character here that she bought items from the black market, or her hologram did, because she's trying to rebuild her suit. She builds like 3 different suits in these series because they're not very durable. And he's kind of a nerdy kind of guy, like a pushover, and she's talking to him, and it turns out that he's actually Ezekiel Stain. His father, Obadiah Stane, was the bad guy, if you will, in the first Iron Man movie. Remember Jeff Bridges? Mm-hmm. Tony Stark, the guy yelling.
Right.
That later went on to play for the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl and yelled at Andy Reid. Sorry, Trev. Hashtag sorry, Trev. There we go. Perfect hashtag for an entry into the Road to 1K giveaway. And I'm going to tag Trev in this too. Yeah, so turns out he's trying to be good, but he lets Ironheart borrow some of his tech that gets accidentally left behind in this big heist, and he gets implicated in these crimes and thrown in jail. So the Hood, who, by the way, the actor who plays the Hood, excellent, stellar job throughout the entire series, and that does not abate at all. Great job. Yanks him out of prison and says, I'm going to help you get revenge on Riri. And he does that by basically giving him the means to upgrading his body, kind of like an Iron Man, but no suit, like inside of his body. And it turns him into this basically electrical powered big superhuman thing. But that kind of falls apart later on in the series, as we're seeing. So the first thing we see inevitably is that Riri's old crew attacks her. Although I thought that the scenes were done well, and I like how she got out of each fight, I don't believe that she would have lasted with the siblings, the blood siblings, the fighters, hand-to-hand fighters. I just didn't believe that she would survive just getting smacked around in that she did from them. Was it the clown, the explosive expert? She was a little underwhelming. And what's the guy's name? Slug was just a waste. You know, I will say this. The MCU has had a history of destroying vehicles for no reason. You saw it in Iron Man 2 was the best way it was done. That was a good reason. But then you saw it again in Eternals. I think you saw it in Doctor Strange at one point, if I'm not mistaken. And sure enough, there's a scene here where Ironheart destroys a car. It makes sense here, at least, whereas Eternals, it didn't quite really. Just saying that adds nothing to the plot. And then Ezekiel comes out, kicks her ass, and he's supposed to kill her, but he doesn't.
Wow. I seen that scene.
Yeah, and I found unbelievable. I thought, I didn't see why he gave her mercy.
Because it's a show.
Fast forward, further on, the Hood basically uses his powers now to control Ezekiel.
Hold on a sec. If you did kill him, then that would end the show.
Well, right, but
So that's why.
I'm talking the character motivation-wise. And this is one of the low points in the series, in my opinion. So the Hood now uses his powers to basically take over Ezekiel's body and use him like a puppet. To the point where, you know, he'll make him eat things he doesn't want to eat. He'll make him fight Ironheart more, all these things. And this is, again, I like the fact that they incorporated Ezekiel, but the execution was just off. He came off kind of like he was doing a parody of Vincent D'Onofrio in the first Men in Black movie. Remember when he gets taken over by the bug and he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like he even does like this weird walk. And I was like, that's just so poorly done. I'm good. What I did really like, and again, we're going to spoilers. Even though Sacha Baron Cohen kind of got outed earlier, you know, when they were filming, like they filmed this 2 years ago. And it was rumored that he was going to play Mephisto. I thought he did a really done job. Definitely had the creepy factor. That part you saw.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm trying to think back to what he said. And you were shocked by it.
And, well, I'm going to get into why I was shocked a little bit more later on, but, yeah, look, and I know everybody's talking Superman now. We're not talking Superman for a while until it's streaming. This is where we are. We're back a week and a half ago. So, not what happened yet, because we're going to get into that in a bit, but his overall performance.
I liked his performance.
Yeah, Bo-Rat's got some chops. And I like is that, you know, he definitely had that kind of air about him, like Mephisto is a villain. You know, if you want to go black and white. But, you know, as he's more evolved, you kind of see it's more like I'm a villain. It's not I'm a villain because I'm a villain. It's a villain like he's a force of nature almost.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's kind of funny because the whole show, you didn't see this part, when Zelma identifies that the hood is possessed by Dormammu, remember from Doctor Strange?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time they think they're fighting Dormammu. So when Ironheart finally meets him, he says, I'm not Dormammu, that guy sucks. He doesn't say it like that, but he pretty much does. But yeah, great job. And by the way, I haven't seen anybody really talk about this yet. If you do watch a show, the final scene where she's sitting down and having a meal with Mephisto, look at the reflection in, I think it was a knife or a spoon.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome, and that was well done. You see Mephisto's true form. I kind of feel a certain way because I feel like he's the kind of character that would have been better introduced into a film rather than a TV series. Like, I don't know that he's got that same kind of gravis, especially that this series I don't think was particularly well received.
I didn't get that part thrown away.
What do you mean?
Because why would his reflection be different when it's reflecting a different surface?
Well, it's like a vampire, you know, they don't have a reflection. It's the same type of thing. Like, there's no rule about it. It's just you're seeing his true form. You know, you don't know too much about Mephisto.
No,
yeah, I mean, and I'll say this, he hasn't been widely used in modern books, at least the ones that I've read. But the most infamous thing and well debated amongst fans that he did was at the end of basically, you know, remember how you saw the Avengers Civil War movie? In the book, at the end of this whole thing, Spider-Man was public enemy number 1, being chased, and the Kingpin had hired an assassin to kill Spider-Man. Now that he knew he was Peter Parker, that was the big part in Civil War, is that Spider-Man took off his mask and said, I've been Spider-Man since I'm 15 years old, and then switched sides, which didn't bode well for him.
Right.
The assassin's bullet missed Peter and shot Aunt May. So Peter was pushing Aunt May around hospital to hospital. Him and MJ were draining their funds to try to save her, and it resulted in MJ striking a deal with Mephisto, saying, hey, look, if you bring her back to health, you could... Mephisto actually made the deal, said, you know, okay, everybody will forget that Peter revealed himself, and Spider-Man revealed himself, but your wedding, your love story would have never happened. Yeah. So they basically erased their whole relationship, and that was at this point 15, 20 years ago, and people still are like, when are they changing course on this? When are they getting back together? But that was Mephisto's biggest move, I think, in the last 20 years. People tell me if I'm wrong. Fast forward back to Ironheart. Two of the weaker things before I tell you why this is different than any other Marvel series. One, after watching the whole series, I have to say, I don't think the actress who played Ironheart was very good. From what I've been told, she actually had initially auditioned for Shuri, you know, from Black Panther, and lost out. Now, don't get me wrong, the script really didn't do anything, at least in my opinion, to help build the character, but when you have what I think is, and speaking bluntly, an uncharismatic actor who really didn't bring anything to the role, it doesn't really bode well. I also thought the actresses who played the hologram and who played her mother were just not good. You know, there are a lot of good performances in this. Zelma, as we said, the Hood, hands down the best in the series. Even Ezekiel, you know, besides his crappy kind of circumstances, does a great job. And of course, Sacha Baron Cohen. But, you know, when your lead is this weak, it's a problem. You know, I didn't care about the character because it was just so... what I consider to be... and I've said this before too, before I go into that, but I still didn't understand the premise that you just helped save Wakanda. Why not just ask Shuri for some cash to build a suit? You know, look, like, and I said this in the last review I did, Bucky killed the king and they gave him a new arm and a political asylum, I'm sure they can give you some money for suits. And she blames herself for Namor, by the way, invading Wakanda, which I don't remember Wakanda Forever all that great. I don't remember getting that from there. You know, I thought they invaded way before we even saw Ironheart on the screen. What I think is the worst part of this series, though, and this is something, Joe from Anachronic, if you're watching, I think you'd agree with me on. I think the people of Chicago would certainly agree with me. The story takes place in Chicago, right? Chicago thinks that they have a great pizza. I don't think it looks so great. I've never had it before. To me, it doesn't look like pizza. It looks like something else. And I've heard from some of my coworkers who work in...
Is that the deep dish pizza they have?
Sort of, but it looks like... It kind of looks like an uncooked lasagna, in my opinion.
It looks good to me. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, we'll have to go to Chicago or something and try one day. So the Hood uses a pizza place as his headquarters, as a front for his headquarters, but it's a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Every scene where he's eating pizza, whether it's where Mephisto's eating pizza either with the Hood or with Ironheart, it looks like the worst pizza ever. Like, it looks like something you would get at like a garage in a gas station, like on the highway at 4 a.m, and just instantly be like, this tastes like cardboard. You're in what some feel is a great, even though they're wrong, is a great place for pizza in America, and you show that crap. No authenticity. No, that's crap.
Well, teach your own.
And for those of you who are like, well, it looked okay to me, you obviously have never had New York or New Jersey pizza. Sorry. You got to come out and try it. Okay, and don't believe if like some jerk down the street opens up is like, oh, it's New York style. No, it isn't. Like, look, go into your pocket, get some Gold Belly or something, or just fly here. That's probably cheaper than Gold Belly, just to get the pizza. I will say that one thing I really enjoyed, the final fight, and I think you saw a little bit of this, between Riri and the Hood. Did you see that?
Yes.
Very well done. The Hood was they did his possession, I guess you could say, very creepy, but not over the top. You know, I was a little nervous, why don't we say, that they were going to make it over the top where it was like funny, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was really well done. I enjoyed that part of it. Where they leave Riri is very interesting. This is the big spoiler. I didn't expect this at all, and I was shocked. And I understand, like, I was talking to a few people online about this. I think Cliff brought this up. You know, she's focused on doing whatever it takes. And in this case, it meant making a deal with Mephisto. I don't buy that she would have done that necessarily, because she just saw what it did to the Hood. She saw everything, and everybody warned her, this is the baddest of the bad, everything. And she's like, yeah, well, I'm going to do it because I need to be iconic, is the big kind of thing in the series. And I need to bring the hologram back, which, again, was something that didn't really work for me. But I will say this is unlike any of the Marvel series we've seen, at least within the past 5 years. And this is why. This should have been a story about loss and about overcoming loss and whatnot. And they touched on it, but not enough. They ended it on that same note where, yeah, she's giving up all these different kind of things just to get this shot of being iconic and having her cousin, the hologram, back. But one thing I really appreciated about the show is they didn't turn the big final scene into an over-the-top superhero fight. Yes, she fought the Hood. Yes, it was a well-done fight. It wasn't poorly done. I mean, I'll give you an example. Moon Knight. You've seen Moon Knight. I enjoyed the series.
I like that show.
I enjoyed the series up until the final fight. Because it's like you have this great story that was so well done. That second to last episode was a gut punch. And then you end it with a big giant-sized monster fight
Oh yeah.
over the pyramids, which just seems silly, especially because it was like nobody's acknowledged it since. Same with Secret Invasion. You didn't watch Secret Invasion, but and people have blasted it. I don't think that the hate for Secret Invasion should be there. Great spy show. Very well done. Up until it just boils everything down to a superhero fight between the Super Skrull and Khaleesi Skrull. I don't even remember what it was. You kind of blew it in the last second there. I'm trying to. We haven't watched Daredevil. I'm trying to remember any other series. She-Hulk, I liked the ending, but not like this. Riri did a great job landing the ending, and again, I just hope that Marvel hasn't left, doesn't leave Ironheart kind of twisting in the wind or anything like that. Because, look, she's got magic, and how is she going to use this iconic technology in the bigger MCU? And more importantly, how's Mephisto going to use her in the MCU? Is she going to be teaming up with Doom? Doom, one thing that they haven't shown in the movies is that he's very, we didn't watch the last Fox one, I'll give you that one. In addition to being a super scientist, he's also a very accomplished sorcerer. Are we going to see that element in Doomsday or in the future MCUs? We just don't know. But like I said, I just hope that Marvel doesn't leave Ironheart behind. I don't blame them if they want to recast for some reason, but that is what it is. So any final thoughts on Ironheart, honey?
That's about it, I guess. You pretty much covered it all.
Now, you were a fan of the first Doctor Strange movie, not the second one.
Yeah.
Do you hope that this opens up something for Doctor Strange coming in?
I don't know how it would, to be honest with you. I don't know how it would
you're
even
dealing,
tie into it.
You're dealing a lot with magic. Zelma even says that when she was a child, she should have been trained by the same people who trained Doctor Strange, but her mother didn't want any part of it.
Yeah.
So you do have that heavy element in there too. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember it verbatim, but that Jason Aaron storyline that Zelma was pulled from, I mean, it could be a good basis for Doctor Strange 3 if they ever get that done. And Clea's another hanging thread line in there too that just reminded me of. But yeah, that's all I got for you. I hope that you enjoyed this overview, and if you've watched the series, let me know what your opinion is. And if you haven't watched the series, like, I'm never watching this, but I watched your video, well, thank you, but let me know if I changed your opinion on anything, or if I gave you guys just a different viewpoint. Any parting words?
Thank you for watching.
Thanks again for watching, especially hanging in there. This is a little long. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.